Hello, I'm Mr. Polk and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'd like to show you how to make some steaks. You can do the steaks in a pan. I'm going to show you how you can sear it. I'm going to show you how you can do it on a grill pan, and this would be the same as if you wanted to do it out on your grill, or you could also do them as a broiler. One of the things we want to do to prepare our steak is we want to make sure that they're dry. One of the things we're looking for with pan searing or grilling is what's called the Maillard reaction, and that's that reaction that occurs on, turn this guy down, that's the reaction that occurs on the outside surface of the meat when the proteins start to coagulate and caramelize, and you get that distinctive color and that distinctive smell. So once we dry them off, I like to just put a little touch of oil, not too much, just a little bit there, so that I can kind of rub that over the surface. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just lightly season. I don't want the seasonings to overshadow the meat, so I'm just going to put a little bit of salt. You can always add more as you're going. I'm going to add a little bit, I like to use like a little Montreal steak seasoning, so put some of that on there. You could use Lowry's or whatever you like. And then a little bit, in this case, a little bit of coarse ground black pepper. So now what we're going to do is, we've got the filet mignon and we got the New York strip. The filet mignon, I'm going to start over here, and I'm just going to get my pan going. And one of the things when you do a sear, let me get a pair of tongs, is that you don't want to have a ton of oil. Okay, you don't want it to be like deep frying. You want it to be able to sear. So one of the tricks I do is I take a little towel, and if you have string you can tie it, and they make this little guy and call it a dauber, and I just rub it back and forth of the pan to get a coating of the thin oil, but it's not like a ton of oil, because it's just going to end up smoking for you, and that just makes it nice. Then what we're going to do with this one is we're going to put our filet in. So we're going to just put our filet right in, and as soon as it goes in, we hope to start getting what I like to call the sizzle saddle. I just like to start hearing the sizzle. Okay, so we put that in. Then what we're going to do is, while that's sizzling, we're going to take a look at the other steak. Okay, so we're going to let that sear on one side, then the other, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. So for this one, I've got my grill going, and I'm going to take my dauber, and I'm just going to go back and forth on the tops of the grates. And I've got it pretty hot. And what I'm going to try and do here is get a classic grill pattern. Okay? And for the classic grill pattern, what I'm looking for is, you start with your steak, you start with it, you pretend that it's parallel, and then you turn it about 45 degrees. Alright? And then you're going to do it that way, and then you're going to flip it. Okay? Now, I'm done with the raw meat. So that happens probably at your house too. The smoke alarm's right near the kitchen, so when I start to get things a little smoky with the indoor grills, we start to get that. So what's going to happen is we're going to get a really nice sear, and it's only going to take a few minutes per side. This is really starting to sear up. I'm going to take it and flip it over. And the amount that you're going to let it on, you're going to have to just sear. Just hit pause, please. Okay, so I think I got the smoke alarm squared away. Once you get this sear, so we put it on the first time, we flip it over itself. Then once you take it, you keep the steak on that side and you go 90 degrees. And that's going to create the grill marks. On these guys, I'm going to flip it over. You can see that I got a really nice sear on that side, and I'm going to flip it over. Now, one of the things when you work with cast iron is that when you first do it, the steak is going to feel like it's going to stick. And that's okay. It does at first. What you then have to do is you have to let it release. And just the best thing you do with a steak is just let it go, okay, and just let it cook. You can get really nice sear marks on it. If it's not as good as you would like it, if you would like it to be cooked a little bit more, depending on the doneness that you want, we talked about that in the other video, you can do that too. Okay. I'm just going to check it. I'm going to let it go just for a touch longer. And now let's take a look over here. What I'm going to do is turn my heat down. And I'm going to put my fillets over to this side. And what I'm going to do is put in a little bit of butter, because I want to do a little bit of butter basting. And I'm just going to put some chunks in there and just let it kind of baste up. And at the same time, I want to get some flavor. So at the same time, I'm not going to peel it or anything. I peel it rather, but I'm not going to crush it. I'm going to throw in some cloves of garlic. I'm going to put in some fresh thyme and some fresh rosemary. And that's going to just help to flavor everything. And again, I've got it to a low heat. It's going to take a little while. And what's going to happen is I'm going to start to baste it. But first, I'm going to take this guy and flip it over. Okay, so now you can see the grill marks on there started to get some caramelizing. They're looking great. They're going to look even better on the other side. Over this guy, now that I've got my heat down, I can start to do a little bit of basting. And I'm just going to tilt this to get my butter, and I'm just going to start basting it over top. And you're going to get that real nice flavor from everything. If you were here, you could smell that. The smoke is cleared. You can smell the aromatics really coming out from the rosemary. And the butter is going to start to brown a little bit from all the bits in the pan. But as you lower the temperature, that's going to allow you to butter baste this to the temperature you want. And if you remember on the other video, we took a look at temperatures and what you would like to do with your steak. If you want to go with something that's rare, you go 115, medium rare around 125, medium 135, mid well 145, and then well is 155 to 165. And I'm gonna pull this guy. That's beautiful. That probably feels like a nice little medium on there. I'm gonna just shut that grill off to help with the smoke. And then over here, I'm going to give these guys a flip. They got beautiful searing on there. That's going to give you a beautiful Maillard reaction. And all I'm trying to do here is to just baste them until the temperature doneness that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and baste those one more time. And this is where the cast iron is great for this. Just spacing that out. And then now we can take a look at the last piece of the puzzle, and I'm just going to bring them up here to the top. Is one of the things I like to do is make just it's not your traditional mushroom duxelle, but it's kind of my version. It has shallots, so I sauteed shallots, sauteed some baby portobello mushrooms, and then I'm just going to finish that off with a little bit of thyme. Okay, so now that looks good, the steak looks good, so let's take a look at plating. Alright, so it's important that before service you always want to let your steaks rest for a little bit. It helps them to relax, and it just helps to have everything really nice. So what I'm going to do is to take a look at plating. We're going to start with a plate, and then we'll just do something traditional here, where I did some grilled asparagus. So I'm going to take some grilled asparagus and put them on the plate. And then what I'll do is I want to put a little bit of the mushroom duxelle down. So take some of that, put that down kind of in a nice little pile in the middle, just like that. And then we can put our steak on. You can go like this. And then the last thing I'll do is I have a couple of these potatoes. These were just roasted red potatoes with a little bit of garlic and seasoning salt. So that's what a nice grilled steak's going to look like, where you get the grill patterns and how to do that. And the videos, the PowerPoints that I do in class will kind of show you again how to do that. And then let me slide that one front so that we can prepare the next one. And we'll plate that the same way. Put a couple of the grilled, and I just grilled the asparagus right on the same grill that I did the steaks. A little bit of the mushroom on there. And then we'll take one of these guys out. Put that right on top. In fact, you know what? Because that was in the sauce, that one there is really nice. And what it does is it creates that caramelizing crust. Okay? And then the last thing we'll do is we'll put some potatoes. Alright, so we'll put a couple potatoes on there. So we got some potatoes. We've got our asparagus and our steak. And we're not setting off the smoke alarm anymore. At least that's just when it's in the house and nobody's coming outside. So that's good. So there you see your two steaks. And the last thing that I want to show you, and I'll just slide this over to the side so that I can put this one here, is that I wanted to finish this off. In one of the other videos I showed you how to make compound butter. And this is what the compound butter in the video, I just roll it up like this and had it in the fridge. And then you take it out of the fridge. You can keep this in the freezer too. This has all kinds of herbs in it. And I take the compound butter and I just like to put a slice or two on the steak. And that's what's going to give me a nice little sauce. So we cut that. I just do like these little medallions. And you put that right on the steak. Like that. And you can either let the heat take care of it. Put that back here. You can either let the heat do it, or you can also use a torch if you want, just to try to get the butter to melt. And the idea is, like in a restaurant, it sits under the lamp until the server gets it. At home, maybe you have it in your oven. But here, I can just hit it very lightly with a torch and just sort of get it to start to melt out. You can see it starting. Once it starts to kind of puff up like that, that's where I want to stop, because then now it's just sort of going to do its thing. You see it? It just starts to melt out over it, and by the time the person gets it and you've cut it, it's really going to make a really nice sauce. So there you go. You've seen the different ways, two different ways to make the steak, where you can get the nice grilling pattern, okay, where you start with it 45 degrees, flip it over itself, then turn it 90 degrees and flip it again. Or you can sear it on the cast iron and then do a real nice butter baste, okay? Then we just plated it with a little bit of veggies. You know, the traditional is, you know, that asparagus that sticks out from the steak, and we got the roasted potatoes. And this just looks really nice. This is something that you can do at home, and it can look restaurant quality. And again, cooking the temperature, you just check it with a thermometer or by feel, the way I showed in the last video. If you're looking for rare, you're looking at 115. If you're looking at medium rare, around 125. Medium, around 135. mid-well somewhere around 145, and then well 155 to 165, whatever it is you want to do. Well, thank you for cooking with me today, and I can't wait to cook with you real soon right here in Mr. Polk's kitchen.